The Rodriguez family gatherings had always been loud, vibrant affairs, a cacophony of overlapping Spanish conversations, the rich aroma of abuela's mole sauce, and the constant background of competitive storytelling. But for Elena Rodriguez, those memories were now nothing more than a distant, painful echo. 15 years ago, on a sweltering summer evening in their cramped East Los Angeles home, Elena's world had shattered. She remembered the moment with crystalline clarity, her mother's hand pressed against her mouth, her father's face turning an alarming shade of crimson, her tios and tias exchanging looks of barely concealed horror. "Estás arruinando nuestra familia," her father had hissed. "You're ruining our family." The crime? Elena had committed three unforgivable sins in her traditional family's eyes. First, she had come out as gay, introducing her girlfriend Maria during a family dinner. The silence that followed was more devastating than any shouting match could have been. Second, she had flatly refused the arranged marriage her parents had meticulously planned with Eduardo, the son of a prominent local businessman. And third, she had chosen to pursue a computer science degree and tech entrepreneurship instead of the expected path of marriage, children, and local community work. Her family's patriarch, Abuelo Raúl, had been the only one who might have understood. But he had passed away just months before, taking with him the one voice of potential support and compassion. The systematic erasure began immediately. Wedding invitations stopped arriving. Family group chats went silent whenever her name was mentioned. Photographs were removed, her image carefully cut out or painted over in old family albums. It was as if Elena Rodriguez had been digitally deleted from the Rodriguez family's operating system. Her younger siblings were forbidden from communicating with her. Cousins who once shared secrets and summer vacations now treated her like a ghost, present but deliberately unseen. When her cousin Sophia gave birth to twins, Elena found out through a mutual friend, not a family member. When her uncle Miguel died of a heart attack, she learned about the funeral after the fact, receiving a terse text from her mother that read simply, "Tío Miguel passed. Do not come." The rejection was comprehensive and calculated. Each missed milestone was another wound, each family gathering another reminder of her complete isolation. Elena watched from a distance as life continued without her, her existence reduced to a cautionary tale whispered in hushed tones. But Elena was not broken. If anything, the rejection became the catalyst for her transformation. She channeled her pain into ambition, her isolation into innovation. While her family sought to diminish her, she was busy building an empire. By the time she was 35, Elena Rodriguez had become a tech mogul whose name was synonymous with innovation in Silicon Valley. Her company, Rodriguez Tech, was valued at over $500 million. She had proven that the family who had cast her out could not define her worth or limit her potential. And now, after 15 years of silence, they would learn that revenge is a dish best served with success. The first years after her family's rejection were a crucible of survival and reinvention. Elena channeled her pain into an obsessive pursuit of excellence. Her computer science degree from Stanford became her weapon, her coding skills her armor, and her ambition her ultimate revenge. Maria, her first love and now her business partner, became her anchor. When Elena's biological family had abandoned her, Maria's support was unwavering. Together, they founded Rodriguez Tech in a small Silicon Valley garage, their initial startup capital cobbled together from Maria's savings and Elena's maxed-out credit cards. Their first breakthrough came with a revolutionary cybersecurity algorithm that could predict and prevent complex digital threats before they materialized. Tech giants initially scoffed, but within 2 years, those same companies were fighting to acquire their technology. When Google offered $50 million for their initial patent, Elena remembered the family dinners where her career choices were dismissed as impractical dreams. Each milestone was a quiet act of defiance, the first $1 million contract. The Forbes 30 Under 30 feature. The tech conference keynote speeches where she would stand, elegant and composed, discussing innovation while knowing her family would never see her success. Her chosen family grew stronger. There was Raj, her lead engineer who had been rejected by his own conservative Indian family. Diego, her head of marketing, who had fought his way out of gang-influenced neighborhoods. Marcus, her legal counsel, who had been disowned for marrying outside his race. They were more than colleagues. They were a family forged by shared experiences of rejection and resilience. Elena's emotional healing wasn't linear. There were nights when the pain of familial abandonment would crash over her like a suffocating wave. Therapy helped. So did her meditation practice and the support group for LGBTQ+ individuals who had been cast out by their families. But beneath her polished exterior, a plan was slowly taking shape. This wasn't just about success. This was about a calculated response to 15 years of deliberate erasure. She would make her family recognize her worth, but on her terms. Not through anger, but through a meticulously crafted moment of reckoning. Rodriguez Tech continued to grow. By her 40th birthday, Elena was worth over $300 million. Her mansion in the Silicon Valley Hills was a testament to her journey, a gleaming modern structure of glass and steel, rising from the landscape like a beacon of triumph. Little did her family know, their exclusion had not broken her. It had created something far more dangerous. A woman who knew exactly what she wanted and how to get it. The first hint of their arrival came through Maria, who intercepted the call from Elena's mother. A crisp Wednesday morning, sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows of their Silicon Valley mansion, Elena was reviewing quarterly reports when Maria's hand touched her shoulder. "They're coming," she said simply. Elena's fingers froze on the keyboard. No further explanation was needed. After 15 years of absolute silence, her family was suddenly making an appearance. The doorbell rang precisely at 2 p.m. Elena chose her outfit carefully. A tailored Armani suit in deep midnight blue, a subtle statement of power. Her hair, streaked with distinguished silver, was pulled back in a sleek ponytail. When she opened the door, the contrast was immediate and deliberate. Her mother, Beatriz Rodriguez, had aged significantly. Once a vibrant woman who could command a room with a single look, she now appeared small, her once jet-black hair now fully gray. Behind her stood Elena's father, Roberto, looking diminished. Her younger brother, Miguel, now in his early 40s, shifted uncomfortably. Her sister, Rosa, whom Elena had last seen as a teenager, now stood with 2 teenage children. "Mija," Beatrice began, her voice a mixture of desperation and practiced warmth. Elena's response was glacial. "Please, come in." The mansion's interior was a masterpiece of modern design, each piece carefully selected, each space a testament to Elena's success. Family photos were conspicuously absent, replaced by awards, tech innovation displays, and abstract art pieces. The Rodriguez clan moved like uncertain visitors in a museum, their expensive but outdated clothing a stark contrast to the sleek, minimalist environment. Miguel spoke first, his voice laden with forced casualness. "Nice place you've got here." Elena watched them carefully. She could read the subtext beneath their sudden appearance like a well-documented algorithm. The dying patriarch, her once beloved abuelo's brother, Tío Carlos, was reportedly on his deathbed. His vast agricultural empire and significant wealth had no direct heirs. Rosa's children stared at her with a mixture of curiosity and awkwardness. They knew of her existence only through hushed family whispers, the cautionary tale of the daughter who was cast out. "Would you like something to drink?" Elena's voice was polite, but each word was measured, algorithmic in its precision. Her mother's eyes darted around the room, taking in the obvious wealth. The motivations were crystal clear now. This was not a reconciliation. This was a calculation. Social redemption, potential inheritance, a way to repair the family's reputation by reconnecting with their unexpectedly successful daughter. When Beatrice reached out to touch her hand, Elena subtly shifted, creating distance. The touch was refused without a word spoken. No, this was not love. This was a transaction. And Elena was an expert at managing transactions. The real game was about to begin. Later that evening, after her family had been politely seated in the living room, Elena retreated to her home office. Maria joined her, closing the door softly. "They want something," Elena said, pulling up a series of digital files on her massive curved screen. "And I'm going to give them exactly what they deserve." Her preparation was nothing short of meticulous. Years of being a top-tier tech entrepreneur had taught Elena that the most effective strategies are those that appear effortless, but are engineered with surgical precision. She had spent years collecting information, not out of bitterness, but out of a methodical understanding that knowledge is the most potent form of power. On her screen, multiple windows revealed carefully collected data. Miguel's hidden financial troubles, gambling debts totaling $250,000, carefully concealed from the family. Rosa's husband's infidelity, a series of emails and location data showing a long-term affair with his wife's best friend. Her parents' own carefully guarded secrets, Roberto's unreported income from questionable real estate deals, extended family connections, documented proof of past indiscretions, hidden scandals, and long-buried family secrets. "This isn't about pure revenge," Elena explained to Maria. "It's about exposing the hypocrisy that condemned me." Her plan was multi-layered. She would not attack directly. Instead, she would create a scenario that would force her family to confront their own moral failings while simultaneously dangling the possibility of redemption and significant financial gain. The key was psychological manipulation. They had come expecting to leverage her success, to somehow benefit from her wealth. She would give them an opportunity, but one that would come with a price tag of complete vulnerability. A carefully crafted dinner invitation would be the first move. Each family member would receive a personalized message, subtly hinting at knowledge of their most closely guarded secrets. The invitation would suggest both threat and opportunity, a chance to discuss family matters that could either destroy or potentially save their current life circumstances. Maria watched her, a mix of admiration and concern in her eyes. "Are you sure about this?" Elena's smile was razor-sharp. "They taught me that family is conditional. I'm simply playing by the rules they established 15 years ago." The algorithm of revenge was being compiled, line by precise line, and Elena Rodriguez was about to run the most important program of her life. The dining room of Elena's mansion was a masterpiece of controlled tension. A long, custom-made table of rare Brazilian rosewood stretched beneath a crystal chandelier that seemed to capture and refract every moment of potential drama. Place settings were immaculate. Hermes porcelain, Cristofel silverware, each detail chosen to emphasize the chasm between Elena's current life and her family's expectations. As family took their seats, Elena remained standing, a glass of rare vintage wine in her hand. Behind her, a digital screen flickered to life, a technological backdrop that would soon become a weapon of truth. "Welcome," Elena began, her voice calm and measured, "to a family dinner 15 years in the making." The first course arrived, a deconstructed version of her abuela's traditional mole sauce, reimagined through molecular gastronomy. It was a deliberate metaphor, familiar, yet completely transformed. "Before we begin," Elena continued, "I'd like to address why you're really here." The screen behind her populated with a series of images and documents. Miguel's gambling receipts appeared first. Large, undeniable, projected for all to see. "Uncle Miguel," Elena said softly. Those poker debts you've been hiding? $250,000 across 3 casinos. Your wife has no idea. Miguel's face blanched. His wife, sitting next to him, turned slowly, her expression transforming from polite curiosity to pure shock. Rosa was next. A series of emails and text messages revealed her husband's long-term affair. Location data, hotel bookings, intimate messages, all meticulously documented and now displayed for the entire family to witness. And Rosa? Elena's voice never raised, never wavered. Your perfect family image? Not so perfect after all. Her parents tried to interrupt, but Elena raised one hand. The digital presentation continued. Roberto's unreported income came next. Real estate deals that skirted legal boundaries, hidden offshore accounts, tax evasion strategies laid bare in high-resolution financial documents. You taught me that family is about appearances, Elena said. I've simply become very good at revealing what's beneath those appearances. Each revelation was surgical. Each secret was exposed not with anger, but with a clinical precision that suggested years of careful collection and strategy. This was not an emotional outburst. This was a calculated dismantling. Beatrice, her mother, finally broke. Why? She whispered. Why are you doing this? Elena's response was devastating in its simplicity. You erased me from our family for being true to myself, for loving who I loved, for choosing my path. I'm simply returning the favor, exposing the truth you've all worked so hard to hide. The digital presentation continued. Extended family secrets emerged. Affairs, hidden children, financial improprieties. No one was spared. Around them, the mansion seemed to pulse with a quiet, technological energy. Each piece of art, each architectural detail spoke to Elena's success. The very space was a testament to her independence, her triumph. You came here hoping to benefit from my success, Elena said. Hoping to reconnect when it became financially convenient. But family isn't a transaction. As the final course was served, a deconstructed tres leches cake that looked more like a modern art piece than a dessert, the Rodriguez family sat in shell-shocked silence. The reckoning was complete. The silence that followed Elena's revelations was more powerful than any accusation. Each family member was trapped in their own web of exposed secrets, the carefully constructed narratives of their lives now lying in digital ruins around them. Her mother, Beatrice, was the first to speak. Her voice, once commanding, now trembled. Is this what you've become? A weapon? Elena's laugh was unexpected, not bitter, but genuinely amused. No, Mama. This is what survival looks like. What success looks like. She walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking her meticulously landscaped garden, a symbol of her ability to create beauty from nothing. For 15 years you made me invisible. You erased me from family photos, from conversations, from existence. I became a ghost to you. Miguel, his earlier bravado completely deflated, attempted to interrupt. Elena, we can discuss. No, she cut him off. You will listen. The digital screen behind her shifted, now showing a montage. Pictures of Elena's journey, her Stanford graduation, her first tech award, the founding of Rodriguez Tech, her TED Talk, magazine covers. A visual narrative of success achieved entirely on her own terms. I built this, Elena said, gesturing around the mansion, without a single connection from our family, without a single dollar of support. While you were busy erasing me, I was creating something extraordinary. Rosa's teenage children, who had been silent observers, looked at their mother with new, questioning eyes. The secrets Elena revealed had fundamentally altered their understanding of their family. The emotional climax was not in the exposure, but in Elena's ultimate choice. I could destroy you, she said quietly. I have enough information to create legal and social chaos for every person in this room, but I won't. Her father, Roberto, looked up, confusion replacing his earlier shame. Instead, Elena continued, I choose something harder. I choose to release this pain. Not for you. For me. She walked to a small side table and retrieved an envelope. This is a trust fund. Not for punishment, but for the grandchildren. For Miguel's children struggling with his gambling debts. For Rosa's kids, who deserve education and opportunity beyond the limitations of our family's past. The gesture was unexpected. A bridge, not a wall. Maria, who had been quietly standing by, squeezed Elena's hand, a subtle show of support. You have one chance, Elena said, to know me. Not as the daughter you discarded, but as the woman I've become. No conditions. No expectations. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, not of manipulation, but of genuine recognition. The Rodriguez family sat in a room that represented everything they had never believed possible for Elena: wealth, success, integrity, power. Outside, the California sunset painted the mansion in golden light, a metaphor perhaps for transformation, for healing. Elena had won, not through destruction, but through the most powerful revenge possible, complete, unequivocal success, and the radical choice of forgiveness. Dinner is served, she said simply. Chapter 7. The Quiet After. 3 months after the dinner that changed everything, Elena sat in her home office, watching the sunset over Silicon Valley. The landscape outside was a perfect metaphor, constantly changing, resilient, beautiful in its complexity. The family's aftermath had been unexpected. Not a dramatic explosion, but a series of quiet transformations. Miguel had entered rehabilitation for his gambling addiction. His wife, initially shocked by the revelations, had become his strongest supporter. The trust fund Elena established had been a lifeline, allowing him to address his issues without the crushing weight of financial ruin. Rosa's marriage had ended, but not in the destructive way one might expect. Her husband's affair had been a symptom of deeper issues. She was now pursuing a degree in counseling, inspired by her own journey of self-discovery. Her parents were different. Not perfect, but changed. Roberto had begun making amends for his financial improprieties, turning himself in for minor tax violations. Beatriz had started attending PFLAG meetings, seeking to understand the pain she had caused. Elena's teenage niece and nephew had become her most unexpected allies. They reached out cautiously at first. Text messages, then video calls. They were curious about the aunt who had been a family secret, now revealed as a successful entrepreneur. But the most profound transformation was internal. Elena's own emotional landscape. Therapy had been crucial. She discovered that revenge was never about destroying others, but about healing oneself. Each carefully orchestrated moment at the dinner was not just an exposure of family secrets, but a personal exorcism of long-carried pain. Maria had been her anchor through this process. You're not the trauma they created, she would remind Elena. You're the beautiful thing that grew despite it. The trust fund was more than a financial gesture. It was a statement of hope, a bridge across the generational divide that had once seemed insurmountable. Elena understood now that healing was not linear, not simple. It was a complex algorithm of forgiveness, boundaries, and growth. Her company, Rodriguez Tech, launched a new initiative supporting LGBTQ+ youth from conservative families. Scholarships, mentorship programs, emergency support networks. She was transforming her personal pain into systemic support. On the anniversary of that transformative dinner, Elena received a handwritten letter from her mother. No grand declarations, just simple words. I am learning to see you, truly see you. It wasn't perfect reconciliation, but it was a beginning. As darkness fell over the Silicon Valley hills, Elena realized that the most revolutionary act is not revenge. It's choosing to become more than the pain inflicted upon you, to create, to heal, to grow. The Rodriguez family was changing, one difficult, beautiful conversation at a time.